Alright, what I'm going to be showing you today is how to build yourself a fairly cheap NAS that's a network attached storage. It's nice to be able to have it in a safe and secure location which isn't directly attached to your computer, because if your computer goes down then you don't lose all of your data. Alright, so what I have here is an HP ProLine ML115G5. It is one of the lower grade HP servers. I only paid about £200 for mine, which is about $300 US. It's a great little server. It's a quad-core server. A lot of people, when I talked about building one of these NASs, they said, "Oh, I'll just use a some existing hardware." You can do that, but one of the reasons why I would recommend a server is because you have all of the server architecture. So, for example, in here you have ECC RAM, which is error correction coding RAM, and it's built to be a server as opposed to having home components, consumer components, which are designed to be, turned on at 9 in the morning and turned off at 6 at night. First thing you're going to need is our drives. Now I've got 4 Western Digital 2 terabyte green power drives. They are 64 meg cache. They're variable spin speed. A lot of people say, "Oh, don't use green power variable spin speed drives," but I'm doing this purely because I'm building a temporary RAID with this at the moment. The next thing you want to do when you're building one of these, have a pair of these. You don't want to touch the drives really with your bare hands. They're currently sitting in anti-static bags. A pair of rubber gloves will save your life. Well, they may not save your life one day, but they will save your drives from being trashed by electrostatic shock. So that said, I think we can start unbuttoning this and installing the drives. Almost forgot one very important element when you are rebuilding or building a server or NAS or something like that, and that's coffee. You need it to function, or at least I do. What I have here is I have a 5 1/4 inch to 3 1/2 inch bay. So I'm going to take this system drive out and put it in here. So that I can put my 4 drives in there. Alright, now as you can see, I have my 4 SATA cables all connected up. I've got my 4 drives here. So what you want to do to make sure that everything is a lot easier, depending on whether you lose a drive or something later down the line, is if you can label up drives 1, 2, 3, 4 with SATA device cabling 1, 2, 3, 4. Then that makes, if you have to replace a drive, a lot easier. Alright, so we have everything plugged up, so I'm just going to turn it on. You'll hear a large whooshing sound. That's from the server fan. So, what you can do is you can go up to your web browser. Now, what I have installed on here, and you can install it just by Googling webmin, and what that allows you to do is the IP address of the computer, colon 10,000, and that brings up my webmin, which gives you all the information and such on your server and what your system load is and everything else. Now, if you click on this hardware tab, you can come up with something called Linux RAID. If you click on that, alright, I've got my concentrated linear and I want to change that to redundant RAID 5. This is a lot easier than going through command line. I say create device, and it has all of my options. I want this to have a chunk size of 256K because I'm working with video. I want to select these 4 devices. You can see there A, B, C, and D. And those are all my 2 terabyte drives. And at the moment I'm going to skip the initialization. Now if you get this is currently an error in webmin at the moment. Occasionally it flags this up. But if you go back to the Linux RAID section over there, you can see that it's created the RAID. If you select the device name, you can see status clean, it's got the partitions, and it has all the information, and it shows usable size 5.46 terabytes of space. Now scrolling down you see create file system of type. Now a lot of people will use ext3 or ext2 or the new ext4. I prefer using XFS because it's a lot easier to use and the expandability of it is a lot better. Now, once you've selected XFS, you say create file system of type. So yes, force creation. So that looks like it's created my my file system. Go back on there. And what you can see here is because I've, for the purposes of making sure that this tutorial works, I created a mount point, which is /mount/internal RAID. You can see I've got the internal RAID there. Oop. You can see where it says mount point does not exist. So what I need to do is open up my terminal. If you ever get that problem, what you can do is, you are missing it, is you can mkdir, that's make directory, /mount/internal RAID. That's made, and then mount/div/0 /mount/RAID, and that's mounted. So now, open that up, I now have 5.58 terabytes of space, so 5.6 terabytes of space.